let's just start with something fairly new. 130 new jobs.
Yep.
One of those companies is offering north of $42 an hour.
Yeah, they'll employ 50 people at $42 an hour, and we're very excited about that. That's going. That should be starting here pretty quick. We've been working with them for about 18 months, and it's exactly the kind of company you want, heavy on research and development. We have always believed in going after things ourselves, but we also work closely with the Commerce Department, and they will send us a request for information, and if we want to respond to it, we will. We're also a member of the Upstate Alliance, which is a marketing organization, and they market the entire upstate. So it's really a mixture of all three, and it's also the people who are already here, the businesses and industries that are already here, sometimes are our best recruiters, because those people talk, and they say, well, you know, where's this plant? Well, it's in Anderson. Well, I just love Anderson. And so we get leads that way, but we also do a whole lot of networking and working with a lot of people to make sure that people know where Anderson is and what we have to offer. And with all of the recent publicity we've received, like being one of the 10 best places to retire, with Bassmasters and other events we have that attract national attention, and people coming to Lake Hartwell and saying, hey, I wonder if I could live near Lake Hartwell and get a job, and the answer is yes, you can. So it's just a mixture of everything, but you have to be pushing everything and being alert to what's going on and maintaining those networks.
With the deliberate development of the Saluda River, Anderson County is sort of working to become a kayak destination. Remind people how that came to be, that sort of long and winding road that got us to the place where people come here to kayak.
Rivers are blowing up all over the country. We got here, we had the beautiful Saluda River. Matt Shell, always been a champion of the Saluda River, so let's do something to highlight it. We got a bunch of council people to go out there and said we needed to do something at Dolly Cooper Park. We've owned this land forever, nothing's happening. So we got a grant from Duke Energy, from their foundation. We put in that kayak launch, and it's growing and growing and growing. Now you have an outfitter who specializes in the Saluda River. Now you can go from one little place at Dolly Cooper Park and maybe go just a little ways down. If you just want to tube a little bit, you don't want to go the whole thing. We now have acquired that land near the Piedmont Dam. Piedmont is doing well. I mean, you can see what's happening over in Piedmont, Pelzer, West Pelzer, and Williamston area. So it just continues to feed on itself. So we have handicapped accessible kayak launches from Dolly Cooper Park all the way to Belton, South Carolina. So we're developing that blue trail. Still have more to do, but I think the private sector is now going to come in and help us do that. But really the big thing to do on the blue trail now is develop that almost 30 acres on the Saluda River at the dam, and we're looking at funding sources for that. DNR and federal sport fishing people really like to give us money because they come to Green Pond and they see that we're great stewards of that money. And they know that if they give us money, something good will happen. We had the colonel who was over the Corps of Engineers out of Savannah. He came and stayed 2 days. He had the time of his life. That's big. We had the head of DNR up here. That's big, Department of Natural Resources. They were here for the tournament. We had the people from Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, South Carolina, they were here. We had people from Oklahoma Department of Fisheries over here trying to hire Matt Shells to go back over and develop that. We had the people from Tennessee. So I think we're going to have to start banning those people because they all want to come over here and do what Anderson County's doing. But council initiated that project. Tommy Dunn said we're going to make Lake Hartwell something somebody knows about, and so we've just piecemealed it. And I'm also happy to announce another thing, that we always wanted to have plays in the amphitheater. And so now we have worked out a situation with a person who lives here in Anderson to put on plays at Green Pond Landing. So we're going to have theater out there. But the other thing we're also doing...
The Market Theater Company's expressed interest.
And we'd be glad to have them too. And another thing, we are also looking to have a 4th of July extravaganza at Green Pond, which would be free and open to the public. So we're looking into fireworks and some music and things like that. That's in the embryonic stage. Again, to make it's not just for fishing, it's also for the theater. We're going to have concerts out there, so all of that's coming along fine.
What about council's approving the purchase additional property next to Green Pond? What will that property be used for?
There was a piece of property, it'd been owned by an individual. There's an African American cemetery there. Deep Gap Church cemeteries there, which we're going to clean up. It's going to give us another access point into Green Pond, and the old social hall was still there. A person was living in the social hall, but it's the old social hall. The church, in essence, died from termite damage, so we will be able to have an office, conferences out there, and a place for us to store our equipment instead of carrying it everywhere else. And the other thing is we can control what goes there, and you and I can't go open up Greg and Rusty's Bar and Grill right there.
What do we expect for the next phase at Green Pond?
Basically, we want to do some more work on the ramps. That's the next phase. We're pretty sure we're going to receive a lot of grant money to do that. We have the ramps there, but we need to add some additional ramps. So that's what we're going to be doing next out at Green Pond.
Those are deep, big ramps, too.
Those are big ramps, and they cost a lot of money. But the pressure out there is getting so much that we need them.
What about the event center idea?
That's still going, but we've got to wait for our accommodations tax, which is a tax on hotels and motels, to get big enough to allow us to do that.
And events like this sort of feed that?
They feed that.
All right, we're talking about entertainment at the amphitheater. Let's talk about entertainment at the Civic Center. We're about updates on that big name that's coming to the Civic Center?
Council has voted to build a band shell. Our old stage was condemned. In essence, we had a structural engineer out there, and he said, no, it's dead. And so we were having to rent stages, and that could be from $10,000 to $12,000.
And they were small, too.
And they were small. So we're going to invest in a stage, and it will bring great benefits, because that stage needs to be finished by September 1, because we have 2 major concerts within 4 days. I can't announce the names right now because the artist said we couldn't announce the names right now. But very big events. One will be Celebrate, but the other one is something entirely different. So Anderson will be the place to go, and we're going to be able to do that because we're going to have that stage.
And so September is going to be done by September.
Got to.
And a lot of work's going on at Kid Venture 2.0, still on track for
The first
Memorial?
structure's up.
Memorial
now.
Day?
Still looking at Memorial Day, but the first structure is up.
And the Civic Center, or the Sports Entertainment Complex, already has soccer, softball, baseball, pickleball, disc golf, wrestling, semi-pro football, tennis, bocce ball, and next week is the official kickoff of the Anderson Cricket Club.
Yes.
What led the county to putting a cricket pitch on Balloon Hill to help kick this off?
They had been playing hither and yon and using some of our baseball fields. Well, Kumar contacted Miss Wilson. Kumar, she said, you need to talk to Rusty. And so we got talking, and I was thinking of a place, and I wanted a place where it's highly visible. And that's highly visible. And so next Saturday, we're going to have the Anderson County Cricket Club have a full-scale extravaganza. Loretta Holloway's going to come sing there. There are going to be things to eat there. And we're going to be playing Greenville, so you need to come home and cheer your own hometown cricket club. And it's just nice. And I just think it's great when you go out there. And if you go out there on a Saturday and they're playing cricket up there, then you go over there, they're playing pickleball. Then you see them playing softball over there. Then they're over there. As soon as we get Kid Venture going up, they're going to be going over there. When we have the Dixie Youth World Series over there, that place is just a hub and a massive event center, and we want to continue that. And when we get that new amphitheater in, and don't forget we've got the fair coming up here pretty quick, May 5th through the 15th, we've got that coming up. When we blew up the old stockade 40 years ago, I guess, that was to be Anderson County Central Park, and it's becoming Anderson County Central Park.
This also reflects on the international flavor and population in Anderson County, right?
Well, we've had several organizations, sister cities, spotlighting our German friends and neighbors. We had an event the other day doing that. But Anderson is an international community, and it's becoming more so of an international community, and I think that's good for all of us because it just adds more spice to Anderson, an amalgamation of all kinds of people from everywhere having a good time and getting along. That's what we like.
And people were surprised when I say this, but I'm correct. There's still more than 50 companies from 18 countries here. Is that right?
Correct.
That's a lot international.
There's a lot of international companies.
How important is continuing the airport upgrades to this international business and to the other businesses?
It is the front door for a lot of people. Not everybody drives down I-85, okay? When people come in, they're going to look at Anderson to do business. If they're coming from another country, or they're coming from California, which happened last week, or they're coming from New York, which happened last week, where do they come? They come to that airport. And they see that brand new airport, wide as it is, ILS certified. That means you can land in the fog. You can't do it in Oconee, Pickens, Greenwood, or those other ones. So we have a long runway. We have ILS capability. We have a brand new terminal building, looks like $9 million. And we're fixing to put a park out there. And
Yeah, where's that park?
Right. Oh, where
How soon is it going to be?
Not soon enough. I'd love to have it there before at least early summer, at least part of it. It's an expensive proposition, but we've received 2 huge donations from private individuals who love airports and aviation. And we also have a lot of interest in people who want to build their own hangars out there, and we're trying to promote that because we think it's a great asset. It is a great asset. People tell us a great asset, and they come in there and say, y'all have this beautiful airport that could be someplace 10 times larger. And so it's going to continue to grow. It's never run as well as it does now, and council takes intense interest in what happens at that airport, and they've put the money behind it, and it's paying off.
So not enough hangar space for everybody that wants to be
No,
out there.
and that's good. You can build your own hangar out there. Thank you. Come ahead.
What about the construction going on the roads kind of leading out to the airport? What are those?
That's private investment.
Okay.
And we encourage that, but they wanted to be there because it's the airport. And they want some aviation type business affiliated with it, and we've got more of that coming too.
Let's move to the elections. The new elections director, Laura Booth, is gearing up for a number of primaries and elections this year, and they're in serious need of poll workers.
It's a wonderful thing to do. You meet a lot of friends and neighbors. You get paid for doing it, and you're part of the great democracy. You're part of the great American experiment. And I know in some places people are rude to poll workers, and there's a lot of that. But that doesn't go on here in Anderson County. We treat people with respect and dignity, and so we really could use your help. And if you need a few extra dollars or you're bored, please come out and be a poll worker.
Other good news, Paul's got yet another award. You may have to add onto the lobby out there to hold all their awards.
Voted #1 no-kill shelter in the state of South Carolina, written up in national magazines. Again, we are leading the way. Also congratulated for us reaching out and helping all of the surrounding counties and really people in other states who know, what are y'all doing right? And again, council puts the money there. They oversee it. They have an intense interest in that. And so that has just been working wonderfully well, and we hope it to continue wonderfully well. So we have pause, but we also help out the Anderson County Humane Society.
And the feral cat program has worked out pretty well.
That's worked out very, very well. Sometimes you run into people who might not like it, but so far it's actually reducing the number of cats, and we're reducing the number of stray dogs. So everything's working like it should.
And the new dog park seems to be getting a lot of use. Any upgrades planned for the future out there?
No, right now we're just settling in with that. I'm sure that we hope to do something in the future, but again, we received massive private contributions from people who don't want to be known, and every month people are donating to PAWS. And a lot of people don't know that we do everything we can to help you keep your animal. We've had people who have been out of work, and they said, I have to turn my animal in. You know they don't want to turn their animal in, because thanks to the donations, we can buy dog food, cat food. We can help them with some veterinary stuff so they can keep their dogs. And that's very important, because some of the people we deal with, that may be their only companion.
And there are a lot of new homes going up right next to Paul's. You heard any updates on that development?
That's the tiny home development, and looks like they're getting ready to actually complete that, or at least begin the completion phase. I think that's going to be a very pretty situation and great starter homes. And for somebody like me who doesn't need very much, I could live happily there.
Yeah, they're trying. I guess I know when it was approved, it was probably much more affordable than now. They're still trying to get them affordable housing in there. Is that the goal?
Yes.
I know with all the growth, council's also trying to find ways to manage all the new home construction. What can council do and what can council not do to navigate the best new developments?
Anderson County, we had rules and regulations in place. Those people who wanted to zone their areas, they're all right. In Anderson County, if you want your area zoned, you have to initiate it, present a petition to council, then it goes to a referendum in that area. That is semi-managed. Lots of parts of the county aren't, but council has tightened the screws on that, and you hear some people say, well, y'all should have seen this coming. Well, they did. Council did see it coming, and they've taken steps. I mean, now we have conservation subdivisions that allow you to develop environmentally friendly and all those other rules, and we've tightened them. Council will have a meeting here tomorrow again to look at those and what can we do, because a lot of times as soon as you figure out what to do, there's somebody out there trying to figure out a way to get around it.
And you're also having to deal with the fact that after home rule, when county council started in the late 70s, early 80s, people rejected countywide zoning when you could have had it all at once.
Yes.
Gotten it out of the way. How serious is the housing shortage for both rental and purchase? What are you hearing?
Very serious.
There's just not a lot of housing out there.
No.
One of the things that might help in some areas, Williamston, Iva, Pendleton, and all, they're going to have access to greater sewer capacity for homes and industry, right? That should help some.
That's going to help some. Plus, council allocated $250,000 to do a study all the way from the lower part of Anderson down to Iva. We met with developers yesterday in this room that want to build 400 homes in there in the right price range, attainable housing to service all those industries there. So we're working on a sewer situation to get them in. So anytime you put sewer, we're going to get more houses.
How fast will Rewall be able to get that sewer ready at South Carolina 8 and I-85 for industry?
I don't know. I would have to look and see, but those people move pretty fast.
Have y'all been contacted about that area yet?
Yeah, we stay in close contact with Rewall. Those are good folks. We have a good partnership with them.
How about the broadband initiative? How's that going so far?
They're laying stuff out about take a mile a day, and it still will take some time to get there, but it's moving, and the really big grant money hasn't even hit yet. So when that hits, we expect it to ramp up very quickly.
You're talking about the sewer reaching down. Any updates on the trail from the hospital track to?
Yes, I got an update on that today. If all goes well, it will be through in September.
Wow.
And then
I see a lot of work on both ends of it.
It should be through by September. That was the date we got today. And then we'll have to have the inaugural East-West Parkway, whatever mileage it is, run.
Yeah,
so we got to do that.
Are they going to name the track after anybody or anything?
It's the East-West Parkway.
Where's county on the budget? Is anything new to consider?
We're still looking at income, revenues coming in, things like that, but the departments are already working on their budgets and getting ready. Council will not raise taxes, and there's no reason to raise taxes. So it'll come together. There'll be some gnashing of teeth and screaming and hollering, but we'll get it done and get it in.
And I assume that the pandemic funds are going to help in some areas?
They have helped last year in some shortfalls, and they'll still help a little bit to a degree. But council is really big on us building up our infrastructure, our road system, our sewer system, and all of those things to make sure that we can handle the growth and accommodate new growth in certain areas. When you put a sewer line, you know where growth is going to go.
And I assume with insurance on the rise everywhere, how's the self-insurance program the county started a couple of years ago helping curb costs?
Well, we heard the other day that Blue Cross Blue Shield state program is going to go up 18%. We've learned a whole lot since we started. I think 95% of our employees absolutely love it, and we're refining it down. And so it's working very well, and we're pleased with it. Council said, we're tired of this, let's do it, we'll handle it. I think we're getting more response, I think we're getting better care, and I think we're getting better attention, and it gets better every month as we learn more every month.
And one of the other things county is working on is cleaning up litter. I know Councilman Glenn Davis has already had a couple of cleanup days in his site, the county-wide cleanup. And I've seen you picking up trash walking from your car to your office, so I know it's an issue near and dear to your heart.
I am probably the most crazed recycling person in America, anti-litter person, and our council feels the same way. We'll be having another anti-litter meeting here, Councilman John Wright next week, and Councilman Glenn Davis, he's already scheduling another litter pickup. So everybody's focused on it, and we're talking about getting some cameras. We have some cameras now in certain areas, but I mean, just don't throw stuff out of the car. Just don't do it.
So they're looking at more cameras and areas, a lot of dumping and trash.
More cameras. I mean, we have 4 officers on the road every day enforcing it as hard as they can. The judges are working with us to the extent that they can. That in the old days, that wasn't the case. Everybody's against litter. One of the things Councilman Dunn wants to do, we had the challenge, the trash pickup at Green Pond, and they brought in a whole lot of trash. Mm-hmm. But what he wants to do, and several other council members, is to challenge every high school, middle school, and elementary school, how much trash can you pick up, and then give them an award. And so start that competition. That's one of the ideas we'll be discussing next week.
Yeah, prizes even for the other things.
Yes.
Yeah, like they did out there, because that was very, very successful out there. Any chance the upcoming budget would have enough for an extra litter officer, or is that?
I know that there'll be a request on that, but again, you have to take everything and put it together to come out with a cohesive whole that serves the interest of citizens of Anderson County. The picnic shelter road work has started up at Dolly Cooper. Council approved the pickleball courts at Hurricane Springs Park, so hopefully those are going to be under construction very quickly. I mentioned the first ride is going up at Kid Venture, so we've got that going. We've got the Wellington Park dedication coming up here in early April to unveil that new facility, so we've got that going on. Those are the ones that come to mind right now. So there's a whole lot of activity on the recreation front, but people demand recreation and they want recreation, and these things are going to provide it. Town of Williamson's fixing to build some pickleball courts. Eventually Dolly Cooper will have pickleball courts. So there's a whole lot of activity going on.
West Pelzer's got river property down over there.
West Pelzer's got river property, so they're working on that. Pelzer's becoming the Broadway of the South, so we got all kinds of things going on.
What, other than recreation, anything else people might have missed that's happening in the county they need to know about?
Well, we have meetings come up on Equinox. We're just waiting for something from the state to begin doing the Equinox Mill project. We have meetings next week with the city on the old Anderson Mill project / Abney Mill project. So we've got those coming up. We opened proposals today for the Toxaway section of Anderson County because we own that property, and we're going to look at those proposals to see if they would be good for Anderson County. We are directing people towards the old Pendleton oil mill in Pendleton. We are directing people to have a meeting here at 9 o'clock tomorrow on the Chicola Mill in Honeypath. Am I saying that all of these things are going to come to fruition? I'm pretty sure about Equinox. I'm pretty sure about Anderson Mill. The others, we're getting a lot of interest, and we're pushing every old mill site in Anderson County. Interest in the Star Mill. So we just keep pushing it, and we've got one person who really ramrods that.
Well, and Equinox you mentioned, and maybe Anderson Mill too, will help some with the housing shortage once they get
It will help with the housing shortage, but it'll also, they're so close to downtown, it's going to make the downtown larger and really open up that section of town.